Yes, my people. Yo, one take, one take. Welcome to this another episode. Yeah. We're just gonna highlight few great videos that's been circulating on the internet regarding Burkina Faso. In general Africa, and when Africans start to do something for themselves or take the initiations or initiatives to develop for themselves further ahead, you know. We end up facing backlash. We end up facing blocks and hurdles. You know what I'm saying? Just so that we will not progress. We will not. Just imagine after slavery, Africa still behind in the international scene because we have some old heads that don't want to get out of the way and still in bed with, you know what I'm saying, the same old school heads that colonize us. And the deals they had been doing and been getting for our countries are F deals. Understand? So we have some young generations of leaderships now, like our generation. We've seen the war, we've seen the rebellions, we've seen the coup d'etats, we've seen all of this, and we've seen a continuous cycle of failure in our leadership, African leadership. You all hate them that are there for 30 years, 20 years, 15 plus years, and still thinking they're the only way out for Africa, and still in bed with the same people who are holding us back. And now we have a young generation of leadership, of leaders that are igniting African progress, African development, African further, what Africa should be. And you have these old heads still standing in their way. You know, most of these ECOWAS leaders right now, instead of joining in with the Sahel region, with what they're doing, because these guys are not the first people to talk about how we should go forward in Africa, with our resources, with our everything, nationalizing things, actually producing, manufacturing stuff back home. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just importing. We need to manufacture stuff back home for our own sufficiency. And we need to make sure we also produce stuff that's going to secure Africa. We cannot just be buying this stuff that's going to secure us. That's why we're not secure. Africa is not secure because Africa don't produce anything that will secure Africa's interest, Africa's resources. That's why they're still exploiting us. But we salute the Sahel region for kicking France out. Period. And we start from zero scratch. We're not even starting from zero because we have one thing. We have natural resources, and our economy can be backed by our natural resources, like the gold. Once we have this back in our resource, our economy, we are fine. We can do this investment, develop the countries, and be progress and be really sustainable development that will really benefit future generation of Africans. Africans should not be traveling outside abroad, working hard when the resources are there. It's just lack of good management. Now we have that, and we have this old head don't want to move. So we're just gonna see highlight a couple of videos and then history. We need to go back. Before I started, I need to bring back our old video of Thomas Sankara, interview. For me, I believe Thomas Sankara, Kwame Nkrumah, these guys had the blueprint for Africa going forward. They had the blueprint, and all they asked for is the blueprint to be followed. And we have this young generation of leaders like Ibrahim Traore doing that, doing exactly that. Africa for Africans, and Africa, the land, or we die. It's just simple like that. We need to be patriotic when it comes to Africa. We need to want to see Africa develop. As a leader, you need to want to see Africa develop. You need to want to see your country develop. Regionally, we develop the regions first. Locally, then we get to one by one to the whole continent get developed. We have the resources. We have two most important things: manpower, natural resources, which are all natural resources. We have natural resources on the ground, and we have natural resources under the ground. And we have the youngest working population. We are igniting European economy, American economy. because we are all over that places and working and making the economy great. So we can do the same thing with African economy, African or in our countries. So yeah, we're gonna see first Thomas Sankara. Listen to this really quick, yeah? Let's go.
Burkina Faso is a name drawn from the land itself, which has meaning in our language.
Which means,
Land of honest men.
why did you want to change the name of Upper Volta?
Yes, because Upper Volta, it meant nothing to anyone, especially to us Burkinabe.
Listen to this again.
It's a
yeah?
name that
Listen to this
Burkina
again.
Faso is a name drawn from the land itself, which has meaning in our language.
Which means,
Land of honest men.
Land of honest men. And that's exactly what this guy is doing, making them proud, making them feel like, yeah, belong. It's home. The land of honest men.
why did you want to change the name of Upper Volta?
Yes, because Upper Volta, it meant nothing to anyone, especially to us Burkinabe. It's a name that only reminds us of
Identity, representation is important. You know, this guy has this philosophy that, you know what, for us to go forward, we need to have our own identity, our own name.
the colonial past. On the other hand, Burkina Faso
That's
is a
how it
name.
is. That's how the thing is. Once we still keep the colonial past in our present lives, we are still holding ourselves behind. We need to get rid of that. We need to move forward as Africans forward. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna address also a video we see in the General of the United States Army, a black person in that manner, talking about Africa, talking about a country in Africa in that manner. Like these people in Africa or in Burkina Faso are nobody. Ibrahim is nobody. A black person. Just like how we hear in the UK, the conservative leader, how she speak when she speak about Nigeria, where she come from. What's wrong with these black people in position in Europe and America talking down on Africans or talking down on Africa? Playing the puppet role. The same as the African leaders who are back there, yeah, we're not going to name them, they know themselves, doing puppet jobs. Listen to this guy.
Absolutely, Chairman. I see this,
And just watch how he's stuttering how his words. He couldn't even speak clearly because he's lying through his dead.
mind calling them out, but Captain Traore and Burkina Faso, as they know that both, whether it's their goal.
Whether it's what? Whether it's what? Their goal. Who the F are these people to talk about somebody else's resources or how the resources should be managed and controlled? Who? Imagine the audacity, 2025, still another country from another where, million miles away, is telling another country from somewhere else how you to manage your resources. Imagine the audacity.
Reserves, that is all those proceeds are just in exchange to protect the junta regime. There's a number of examples across, even in Sudan, what's going on with the rapid support forces and in Burhan of the Sudan forces. When you get down to it, is all about the revenue that can be drawn out of that, and there are nefarious actors in the CCP or in sometimes Russia are complicit in those activities.
You see, they cannot talk about Africa and this Sahel region, what they're doing without saying, oh, Russia influence, Russia influence, Russia influence. Or these guys are now just trying to enrich themselves. What is your interest in a country deciding, an independent republic country, deciding to do business with another independent country? What is your business in it? What is your say in it? You don't own them. They're independent. But why? They have to do business with who? Who you decided they're safe or they whatever to do business with. This is what we are facing in Africa. 8 sweet strings. That's why I like to read that he's not taking nothing from them. Nothing. You know? It's just listen to this guy. This guy just talking shit through his mouth.
Okay, well, you can't imagine how frustrating it seems to me.
It is very frustrating even to us right now, to all Africans, that the a U.S. Army general chatting shit about our countries and our resources, and how whatever business we deal with is based on Russia's influence. Like, we cannot make our own initiatives, we cannot make our own decisions and make our own good deals that benefit our own people. Is that what you're saying? Is a Russian influence? So we cannot think for ourselves?
That this mineral-rich continent.
This mineral-rich continent. Listen to it again. This mineral-rich continent. Yeah?
Mineral-rich continent has not been able to.
I'm not even. Imagine Burkina Faso under French influence, French runs, French whatever. For how many years since independent? Yeah, these guys there's no good airline, good roads, good educational schools. Simply put it, no development, and they were under France influence. Yeah, until 2022, less than 3 years. They have a processing tomato plant. They have a processing cotton plant. They have roads been built. They have Burkina. They have schools been built. They have a port. They have a bank in less than 3 years. You tell me whose influence is better then? Should they stuck with European influence, American influence, to remain poor, to remain under their control, and risk generation of their people to remain in circle of poverty and suffering? Is that what they're talking about? No, Ibrahim is not taking that nonsense, and we salute him for that. In 2.5 years, since 2022, we're in 2025 May, all of this thing has been done in 2.5 years. It's not 2.5, 2 years, 5 months. He has done all of these things by doing the right decision, nationalizing the gold, having a gold reserve, because this is the only way forward. All they have to do is give us aid and come with strings and take our resources, exploit us. This guy saying no. And now he's what? He's not fit. He is this. He is that. He is trying to do this. It's Russian influence. It's just so much. I don't know. And nowadays, I'm glad the world is saying through their mouth, through their lies, because all they do is lie. And they still think this generation is still dumb, or is still. We were never dumb. Our elders were just Africans just listen to their elders. This is the thing. And the elders were running politics in Africa. But guess what? We still listen to them. But right now, they're not running the politics. We are running the politics in Africa right now. We run our narratives. No more European narrative about how Africa is, about what Africa is. We run our narrative, and we're gonna publicize, and we're gonna televise the good, the better, the best. Because we have investors, we have innovators, we have creators, we have everything the world has to offer. And we are gonna write our own narratives going forward. They're not gonna tell our story. We will tell our own story. We know what representation is. Because all that glitter outside Europe, America ain't gold. You know what I'm saying? So the narrative of Africa is A, B, and C is D, and this and that. Because they had our old leaders in their pockets, pulling them like, puppets everywhere they go, pulling strings on them. That's the old generation. This young generation, we're not having that. And any leader in Africa position right now, you are over your 60 plus, retire please, grandfather. Step down. Step down, please. Let the young generation develop Africa, take charge. You know what I'm saying?
Imagine if in Burkina we refuse to fight, and we accept to submit to live in slavery. Tomorrow our children will grow up,
Exactly. Imagine we just stand down, bow down, and accept the continuous disrespect, disregard of African's people.
We'll ask questions. Were our parents cowards to leave us in slavery? Whether we are alive or dead, we will feel it.
Facts. Facts.
The coward is afraid. And the imperialists have understood. They try to instill fear.
And fear is the game. It has been the game. Africans need to realize one thing too, yeah? It's not just put on, or the game is not just been played on Africans. It's been played globally. And Africa needs to start out being aware of the game that's been played. We should play the game equally as they play in it. Because an African child will travel to Europe, will pay all everything. A European child will travel to Africa and not pay nothing, just pay your flight and your hotel, and no visa required, no restriction required, nothing. That needs to change. Representation is important. How they perceive us, yeah, is very important. And we need to realize and recognize it. If an African child travel to Europe and pay visa, pay everything to be in Europe, a European child should do the same thing. So the same thing should apply to him or her. Facts.
In the leaders, so that you become cowards. Because when you are a coward, all other vices can arise. They do everything to make us afraid. They come into our palaces. They threaten us directly or with veiled threats. Of course, we respond as we should. They always take examples. They will tell us, Thomas Sankara tried to do it like this, but...
And that's the facts. That's the fact. And that is not a method that's been done now. It's been done since slavery days. The black man that was more masculine, that was more progressive, that was more like a no-no guy, they will violate that person to show the rest of the group that anybody that step out of line, the same thing will happen to you. Is the same playbook. You see, that's why this young generation, we don't play with that. We know it, we recognize that's why we don't play with it. That's why he's speaking it clearly and very clear. This is our generation, this is our time. We know it. We read the books, we know the history, we know exactly what it means. We understand the language exactly when they speak it. But our leaders, the old ones, yeah, it's like they hear one thing and it goes to the other side. Because they still pile themselves up, run up to these people and ask for more gain and loans and loans and loans and loans and loans just to enrich themselves. That's why they have the audacity to still insult them, not respect them, and give them shitty deals. But we salute to this young generation, man.
Where is he? He is dead. The Haitian president, he tried to do it like this. Where is he? He is dead. Gaddafi tried like this. Where is he? He is dead. These are the veiled statements made to us to
And this has been the thing African leaders have been facing. Not just Africa. The playbook is for the global standing. Any leader in the world, you're not part of the game, you're not part of the cabal, and you stand for your people, you're going to have challenges. And Africa is a prime example. If you stand for African progress, you're going to have challenge as a leader in Africa. And we have been failing so much in that aspect. But this generation, we are not going to stand by and watch this guy, Ibrahim Traore, something happen to him. The Senegalese president, young also, is a good president. The Sahel, Niger, Mali, we're not going to let nothing happen to them. We're going to stand by them and with them because they are with the people, for the people, and by the people. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need. We need young progressive African leaders who have the benefit and interest of Africa.
Still fear. And then we also often see some young people trying to follow in the footsteps in a different way. You can hear them say, such a person ruled like this, he has the sepulchre. Such a person ruled like this, he is in prison.
That's true, because the youth also, it's basically like more of a it's not a brainwash thing, but it's being influenced. Like African kids have been influenced by the narrative for longest of time. So we need to relearn, reteach ourselves our own history, because we cannot have somebody else tell us our history. We need to learn our history, and we need to nationalize our languages to be our official languages, and teach our lessons in our own language, teach our histories, and not European history. We need to teach our own history in the deepest level, in the deepest manner, not just a brief history. Because you learn of all of this European history without even knowing that much about Africa, about African gold, African research, about these real stories of what, you know what I'm saying? How to even mine a gold in Africa. You don't even know, and you're an African. These stories, these topics, or these lessons need to be taught by, like in the curriculum, so that Africans growing will know what the worth, what's their worth, what's their land's worth, what's their continental worth. And we need to have this connection, this freedom of movement, this unity, this collaboration between Africa,
In the history of the world, there have been wars. And during the Second World War, people organized themselves to defend all over the place. But there is a country that could not defend itself, which had to come and take our ancestors to go defend them.
What I like about him, he's not letting go with him and Emmanuel Macron, you know what I'm saying? Because Emmanuel Macron, every time he's just giving jab about how ungrateful Africa or blah 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 about, he's responding him with proper facts. And this is a lack of representation again. Africans did represent when it comes to the world wars, but we are not represented properly when the history is told. When history is told, they don't give us our flowers, our credit. It wasn't a world war. It was a European war. That narrative also, we the young Africans don't believe in it, because Africa was not in war. We were not involved in what was going on in Europe. We were just involved in it because we were colonized by these Western countries. So they had to take us and put us put them in their front lines to fight for their war, because it was a European war. Europe and America, and they were in that war. Africa has no business, no involvement in that war. But it was a world unity, so Africa involved. Because when it's involved in the war, Africa will contribute. But guess what? When the stories are now told, are written, we are not giving our flowers and our credits. Our great-great-grandfather, grandfathers, parents died in those wars. But where's the recognition? You know what I'm saying?
And today that same country wants to give us lessons. The pot calling the kettle black.
Exactly. It's just crazy. It's really crazy, you know what I'm saying? But it is a great time, and it's an important time in our lives to see what this guy and the Sahel region is doing. And African leaders should step in. All of them need to come together as a unit. Europe has its own, and they are united. Their borders are open for their citizens. Their economy is helping one another in Europe. You get me? Other regions have the same, that kind of, it has to happen in Africa too. It has to happen. And for me, this lady also, our grandmother, is one of the persons that also should be protected, should be cheered and championed, because she speaks volumes. You know what I'm saying? She speaks volumes regarding Africa and how Africa should go, you know? Just listen to what he has to say about Ibrahim Traore.
President Traore is standing up. He is saying the natural resources in Burkina Faso, they belong to the people of Burkina Faso. Niger is doing the same thing. Mali is doing the same thing. Every leader must look at what's happening in the Sahel nations.
Every African leader, especially the big ones, them, Nigeria, South Africa, all of you big boys, yeah, that can take stand and make influence and change the narrative and for the betterment of Africa, need to join and stop effing around and standing in the way.
To say, like anybody else, you must take care of your people. You have your natural resources. You have everything you need to take care of your people. Why do you continue to be beggars? Look at what is being brought in by not only USAID, but all the NGOs in your country.
Exactly. One, all NGOs should be banned, removed in our continent. Everything negative that come through them. Watch movies when they come and say they're NGOs, they're agents.
It's peanuts. It's a joke that the African leaders should continue to be beggars of peanuts when you are looking and allowing billions to get out of your country year in and year out, if not trillions, in natural resources that your people should be benefiting from.
Good question. Why would you be begging for aid, funds, development, whatever, when you have something they need? Most of these African countries' GDP or economy are bigger than the countries they're asking for help. Just think about it for a minute. And this guy said no. And once he's done that no, he's now the villain because he wants to develop his country. He wants his people to be developed. He wants his people to get out of poverty. So for that, he's a villain? No, we're not accepting that. He is the man, and we stand by him. You know what I'm saying? We stand by him. And Ibrahim, just know that the world, we are behind you. Rest assured, we are behind you. And this is what we will need to see in Africa. This is the blueprint. All of you head leaders in Africa playing around, get out of the way. Get out of the way. Time is up for you guys. Time is up. Get out of the way. You know what I'm saying? My people, you know what I'm saying? Show love and support to this guy wherever you can. You know what I'm saying? And we can't let this go any other way. You know? Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, we are with you. You know what I'm saying? And we salute you people for taking the initiative, for taking the blueprint to reality. It can be done. It can be done. You know what I'm saying? It can be done. Keep you do good work. Keep up, man. Big up.